Thank you for tuning in for the very first Tale from the Blue Wizard. I'm obligated to tell you this is a YouTube novel for entertainment purposes. You shouldn't be making life decisions based on what you hear a YouTuber say. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Today's episode, Chapter 1, The Introduction. I met the source for this story in June 2017. My original intent, once he convinced me it was a project worth spending time on, was to publish a book based on our conversations. But as John Lennon said, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. So here we are, with a big pile of barely organized notes and you wondering what kind of tales a blue wizard would have to tell. So let me start at what was the beginning for me. When I met this guy, I was working as a news reporter for the Orange County Times. My managing editor explained that my assignment was to do a feature story on a local philanthropist who had saved his small Southern California community from financial ruin and disincorporation when a new water well was discovered on his land. This eccentric character, who owned a decent-sized parcel of land pretty much near the center of town, had for a long time been considered a nuisance, as he had rejected or even fought all previous attempts by the city to acquire the land. This went on for decades until 6 months ago, when out of nowhere the guy contacts the city with an offer to lease the land along with the rights to the recently discovered aquifer to the city with generous terms, and then just kind of vanish from the public eye until suddenly announcing this retirement and his plans to sail off into the sunset. Let me pause the story for a moment to say that because some people have a hard time differentiating between stories and real life, I'm going to keep his name out of it for now at least. I might change my mind later, but really his name doesn't matter all that much to the story, and I certainly don't want some guy who happens to have the same or a similar name to become a target of stalkers. Anyway, this guy tells me to meet him at Adolfo's Mexican Food in Laguna Beach, right on the Pacific Coast Highway. I remember I had taquitos because they were served with Mexican crema instead of sour cream, and it was delicious. My informant didn't order any food. I noticed while I ate that his movements were smooth, deliberate, like each movement was a practiced ritual. The way he picked up his spoon, lifted a cup to his mouth, slid the chair under the table. He seemed lost in thought as I finished my meal, and he did one of those subtle, closed-mouthed sighs through his nose. It was the sound of the shore foam at the final reach up the sand before pulling back for another try. My meal finished, I opened the interview by asking him, "How are you enjoying your retirement so far?" His answer was like a strange poem, and according to my notes was precisely this: "My long love affair with the world is over. Time now to face one last change, finally, without fear, after all these years. An ancient fairy dream will become what's real, and memories of this place melt like morning mist. West, the only exit, and so I will sail." It sounded very much to me like he was trying to channel Tolkien, but it wasn't exactly the sort of thing that makes a good quote for the newspaper. What he said next, however, before I could organize my thoughts and ask the next question, was even stranger. The real story, he said, is the Blue Wizards and what really happened to them. Thank you for visiting for the first tale from the Blue Wizard. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy this content.